Okay, I can't show you this room yet. That one's coming up later. We're going to focus on this room. I think you're going to love it. You watched us design and build this house in 150 days, but the work is far from over. We're about to jump into my favorite part of the process of bringing all this together. Join me for an exclusive look right here on ehowhome. You know, it's the little details in a room that can really make it. But as we go around and we talk about the rooms in this house, and I do a reveal for each room, we always talk about the size of the room and sort of the form of the room and the materials. Well, this is the master bedroom, and I'm really pleased with the way it's turned out. I used a lot of orange in here, and if you like orange, I'd love to know why. Just post a comment for me here. But back to the framework or the room itself. You see, we use that horizontal pine boarding in here. I just think it's got such a great look. It was not #1 grade pine, but #2 grade pine. That just gave it more character and it cost less money. If you look at the ceiling, we had to get clever there as well because, well, we had a budget. Even though I went over the budget, by not too much, a ceiling like this actually cost less money and helped sort of rein the cost in. That's just that barn tin like we used in the kitchen, but in this case, I painted it Snow White by Benjamin Moore. So it gave it, I don't know, a really sort of charming feel. And the light in the center, I didn't want to do an expensive light fixture, so what we ended up doing was one of those big Chinese lanterns. It diffuses the light in such a beautiful way. These things are really inexpensive. I think that cost under $7. Every room of the house, I wanted to make sure we had some source of natural light. Happily in the master bedroom, we have 2 windows, one here and one over there. We have these Roman shades that were created by the shade store with this beautiful sort of putty brown or gray linen, which I think works really well. Very simple. And then on this wall, we've done some interesting things as far as decor. This is an old tobacco basket from the late 19th century. And in the corner is a mirror from the Paul Michael Company, which I love. It just, again, reflects the light in the room. And then this dresser came from a second-hand store. I just rubbed it down with some white paint to give it that sort of vintage look. We've placed a few things on it just in the way of some mirrors, a plant and a vase. Nothing too elaborate, but here again the mirrors reflect light. They give a sense of expansiveness. This isn't a huge master bedroom. I mean, it's 14 by 11.5. So in order to accommodate everything we needed in this room, I want it to at least feel larger. So actually in this room we have a mirror here, we have 2 here and 1 over there and 2 windows. And it really does add to the expansiveness of the room. With the ceiling painted white and these walls painted the color called Quicksand by Benjamin Moore, the idea is to make this room feel larger than it really is. The rug on the floor is sisal. It's the same pattern of sisal that we've used in the other rooms. I wanted consistency through the house. I didn't want to change things up too much. But I think the thing that I love the most about this room is the bed itself. Originally I thought a room this size, we're only going to be able to have a queen size bed in here. But then I went down to the Paul Michael Company and I saw that headboard. Well, it wasn't a headboard then, it was just an arch that came out of a church. And it was much browner, and I asked Paul about putting a wash on it to lighten it up. He said, no problem. I said, I think this could make the perfect headboard for a bed, and that's what we used it for. But the problem was, it was much larger than a queen size bed, so we had to move the size of the bed up to a king size. Made me a little nervous, but it actually works really well in this space. It's not as tight as you might think, and I think we go back to this idea of the room feeling larger than it actually is, so we can actually accommodate a larger bed. Yeah, so I went crazy over orange in this room. And the reason, well, I found these pillows at Anthropology, and I just love them. And I thought, why don't we build the room around the colors in this pillow? These are big, they're bold, and there's some really interesting colors going on here. So let me just take the colors that you see in this pillow and show you where I created a color echo, if you will, in the room. Well, you see this color? It's very close to what the shade store did for our Roman shades. The walls themselves, Well, there it is. There's that quicksand color that you see for the walls. And if you look down here, these colors work with the bed skirt. If you mixed this color with this color, you would end up with a color just about like that. And these colors all work with the little dark flecks that you see in the sisal rug. And again, think about our floor color again, which is really dark. It's black bean soup. That's the color from Benjamin Moore. So you get that same color echo. It creates harmony in the room. I just think these pillows are great. If you'd like them, I'd love to know what you think about them. So post me a comment. And then of course you have the orange in the pillow represented here with this bedspread that we did in linen and this quilt that I found that has just a little bit of a hot pink or magenta in it, which brings me to these stools, which I thought were really cool. Again, from the Paul Michael Company. You have your orange, you have this neutral color, but you also have this really hot pink, which is picked up in this bed quilt right here. You see, I like mixing these patterns up. You have this pattern and this pattern and this pattern. Whoa, it's probably just enough. I didn't want to go much further, although I did come up with a pillow thrown back over here in this Orkney chair that I think looks really good. But before we get over here in this corner and finish up the room, I want to point out these lamps. These are made by a friend of mine, Christopher Spitzmiller. They're handmade here in this country, and I just love that color orange. They were perfect for flanking either side of this balanced composition with the headboard. And over here we've got these outrageous ceramic flowers. I just think they are so cool. I'd love to know what you think about them. These are sold by Global Views, and I just think that they have sort of a retro kind of feel. They're really bright and they make this room pop. What I love about it is when you come in the doorway into this room, your eye goes right to this wall with this chair and these two pieces, and then you look over and then you see the bed. So it's a nice way to sort of lead the eye. But I also want to point out this little piece of furniture that fits this small slice of wall. There's an inset here because the master closet is there. And so, you know, it's a challenging space. But what I like about this is that it's functional in that it has a drawer. It's a tabletop, but then you get this tall mirror. This also comes from the Paul Michael Company, and I think the finish on it works well with the other finishes that we have here. It really embraces that idea of this farmhouse chic. Well, this is the master bedroom. I'd love to know what you think about it, and if there are some things that you would have done differently, I'd like to know about that as well. So if you really want to keep up with each one of our room reveals of the little cottage here, all you have to do is subscribe to our channel, ehowhome. Thanks.